And this is Daddy.
We're here at the Johnstown Flood Museum in Johnstown, Pennsylvania.
What are you doing?
Oh, I'm creating my flood pants. This is a tribute to those who died in the Johnstown flood of 1889.
Are we going to have a good time at the expense of other people's misery again? Because it looks that way.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard of the Johnstown flood before, then grab your snorkel and hang on.
It was the 7th worst disaster in U.S. history in terms of lives lost. 2,209 people perished in the flood, which was slightly worse than what happened with Hurricane Katrina and not quite as bad as when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor.
However, it was the biggest preventable natural disaster in U.S. history.
Here we are on the banks of beautiful Lake Conemaugh. This lake is about 7 miles in circumference. It is around 60 feet deep and has stocked with lots of fish, and it's got 20 million tons of water in it. Yes?
There's no lake.
Right, I was getting to that part. You see, there was a lake back in the 19th century, in 1889. This was a terrific hunting and fishing resort for the great magnates of Pittsburgh.
They were magnetic?
No, not magnets, magnates, meaning that they were important people like Henry Clay Frick and Andrew Carnegie, and they were the great magnates of the iron and steel industry of Pittsburgh.
As it would be really bad to be a magnate in the iron and steel industry because you would be walking through the factory and all kinds of bits of metal would be flying at you.
Can I continue?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. So here they were. They had this wonderful hunting and fishing resort, and these were important guys, so they weren't checking the dam, and it was really sort of an old dam that they got from other people, and the people working for them didn't check it. And then in May of 1889, it rained and rained and rained and rained.
Raining and raining and raining, and the two rivers in Johnstown, the Conemaugh and the Stony Creek, were already at flood levels when the dam broke.
So here we are at the confluence of the two rivers. We have the Conemaugh River over here, we've got the Stony Creek River over here. What happened was when the dam broke, the waters came down the hill and it went from town to town, picking up more and more debris, and then it hit a barbed wire company, which served to sort of bind all of that stuff together. So when it came to Johnstown, it didn't hit it like a great torrent of water, but as a wall of detritus. Then it hit this bridge behind us. This is the stone bridge. There, it formed a new dam, and the water went back up the Stony Creek River, and it flooded another part of Johnstown. And if that wasn't bad enough, the debris at the bridge then caught fire and burned for another 3 days.
So we always get to this point. We go all this way to go to a museum, and we learn about something that happened over 100 years ago, and it's very important. It's a huge historical event, but why do we need to learn about this?
Well, the important thing to remember is that this was a preventable disaster, and so we need to learn our lesson from that. In 2007, a bridge in Minnesota collapsed because they weren't paying enough attention to the infrastructure. And so we need to be prepared for the next thing that might happen. What would happen if a tsunami hit the West Coast? Or what if there was a nuclear power plant disaster? Are we ready for that?
But wait, we've got to tell you about the museum itself. It's great the way it brings the whole story to life.
On the first floor is a great multimedia relief map where it shows the whole disaster with lights.
And they have lots of artifacts from the flood and a great explanation of why the dam failed.
And they also have information on how Clara Barton and the American Red Cross came to the rescue with flood relief. And they even have an example of a modest so-called Oklahoma home. These were built for those who had lost their home in the flood.
And one of the coolest things is the film they show on the second floor. It's a stunning documentary about the flood that actually won an Oscar for Best Documentary. How cool is that?
The site of the South Fork Hunting and Fishing Club is now operated by the United States Park Service as a memorial. It's a terrific park where you can picnic or take a hike right through the gap where the dam burst. They've even preserved the club president's home, and a visitor center is located in his barn. Well, some people see this in terms of class warfare, as though the wealthy people at the top of the mountain were disinterested in the poor workers below, but really it doesn't make a whole lot of sense because they certainly didn't want to hurt anybody, and these were their factories down there. I grant you that Frick and Carnegie were not the nicest guys in the world. Well, Frick did leave behind a tremendous art collection, and Carnegie built libraries all across the country. In fact, the building that the Johnstown Flood Museum is in used to be a Carnegie Library.
Daddy! Run for your life! The dam's bursting!
Better run for yours. We want to thank the people at the Johnstown Area Heritage Association for helping us out with this and providing the pictures. They run the Johnstown Flood Museum. If you want more information from them, you can click the link on the right. If you want more information on the Johnstown Flood Memorial run by the United States Park Service, you can click the link on the left. And don't forget to subscribe to the Adventures of Ed and Alan, and leave your comments below. Actually, from now on, it's just going to be the Adventures of Ed, because I'm going to kill Alan.